I still have 3 books left on my May TBR. Hey bookworms, welcome back to my channel, and welcome to another reading vlog. I officially have 5 days left in the month of May, yet I still have 3 books left on my May TBR. So in this reading vlog, I'm going to be attempting to finish my May TBR in the last 5 days of the month. However, I do think I'm going to be able to pull this off successfully because 2 of these books I'm already like halfway through. I am halfway through a novel love story by Ashley Poston, and then I'm also halfway through The Roughest Draft by Emily Wibberley. This is like my tanning and reading book for the pool. And then the only book that I'm really worried about getting through in this video and by the end of the month is Silver Elite by Danny Francis. However, the premise for this book is so interesting to me and it sounds right up my alley. So I am definitely excited to get to this one. And I think that with finishing these over the next couple days, I will have plenty of time to really focus on this one and put a lot of like my attention towards it. This one I plan on finishing over the next couple days because we're going into the weekend, and I plan on doing a lot of pool reading tanning sessions over the next couple days, and this is like my go-to book for the pool right now. And then A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston, I am literally like halfway through, like exactly. And the writing in this book is just so digestible, and like the premise for the story is just so like right up my alley. Like basically our FMC gets stranded in this town, but it ends up being this like fictional town for this book that she's read. So like all the people in this town, like she knows them as characters, and then I believe our MMC is like the only person there that like knows that this like people are like based on characters. But would love to see where that's going because I know that they've been spending some time together, and I'm just really intrigued, and I think it is so cute so far. So I honestly do want to finish this one tonight because like I said, the writing is just so digestible, and I feel like Ashley Poston just has this like whimsical, magical way of writing. Like I don't know what kind of fairy dust is in her pen, but I love the way that she writes, and everything that she writes is just so like whimsical and magical. So I would love to sit here and finish this book out tonight. That's kind of my goal for the rest of today. And then this one is actually a fairly short read. It's like literally just over 300 pages and I'm halfway through. So definitely feel like I'm gonna finish this one over the next couple days at the pool. So the only book that I really need to worry about finishing by the end of the month and like in this reading vlog is Silver Elite. I very rarely have finished a fantasy book in less than 3 days, but it's gonna have to be done, and I think it will be because the premise of this book just sounds so enjoyable. However, I don't know what the writing style is like for this book. I do have this one on audiobook from my library, but I do want to try and read it on the actual book before resorting to the audiobook. But for now, I think I'm gonna go ahead and get comfy and then jump into A Novel Love Story and try to finish this book out tonight. Okay, I just finished A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston, and I absolutely loved this book. This was so magical and so cute, and I'm so happy with the way everything ended up playing out in the end. And just like the overall premise of this book is such a fun idea, and I loved like reading in this setting. Basically, our FMC, she gets stranded in this like fictional town with like these fictional characters, but it's based on like one of her favorite books. Like, tell me that's not like one of the coolest premises for a book ever. Like, I love that premise so much, but the way that it was executed, like, it was done so well. Like, these characters, they felt like real people, And then like the reasoning for like everything that was going on, like everything just made so much sense, and the way that it all connected back to the books, like it was just done so well. Like I thought it was so magical, and I just really loved like all of our characters in this book. So I absolutely loved this book. I thought it was so cute. Also, the romance was so subtle but so believable. Like the chemistry with our main characters was definitely there, and I think that's like my favorite type of romance, is when it's subtle but also like there's chemistry, there's tension, there's banter, and like obviously our characters love each other. Like that is my favorite type of romance, is when it's subtle but also kind of in your face, but at the same time believable and intentional, and like the chemistry is so obviously there. Like I absolutely love that, and I feel like this book did that so well. Also, our FMC, like she was going through some things on her own as well, and we got to see that kind of sprinkled in throughout the book. I don't know, I just feel like it was done so well. The whole story just felt so well-rounded and intentional, and I am so happy with the way that everything ended up playing out in the end. Like literally couldn't have asked for a better ending. That was such a good ending, not even just like in a romance aspect, but in our main character kind of like getting in touch with herself and like figuring out what she wants in her life. Like that part really is what moved me a lot. And then also you have like the romance as well. And as far as my rating goes, I'm low-key leaning towards a 5-star. Like it was just so magical, and like everything was so rounded. I loved all of our characters, and the writing was so whimsical and magical. The romance was so believable and so cute. However, I think I'm gonna sleep on my rating because I'm leaning towards a 4.5 to 5-star, and I don't know where it's gonna land. So I think in the morning, if I'm still like obsessed with the storyline and the characters and like I can't stop thinking about it, I think I'll land on a 5-star. But it's about 10 o'clock right now, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and get a jump start on my next book for this video, which is Silver Elite by Danny Francis. This is a romantic dystopian novel, and I think it has some enemies to lovers in it as well. So super excited to jump into this one. I don't think I'm gonna end up getting very far with it tonight since it's already about 10 o'clock. I'll probably read a couple of chapters before bed, and then we'll really dive into that one tomorrow. But I wanted to get a jump start on that one since I only have 4 days left after today. And like I said, the other book is like mainly my pool and tanning book. So I'm gonna go ahead and go get ready for bed and then jump into Silver Elite by Danny Francis. I didn't end up reading very much of Silver Elite last night. I think I got to like chapter 3 before I went to bed. However, I did decide that I'm gonna give a novel love story 5 stars. That is my 5-star shelf for 2026. As you can see, there's only 3 books on there, so hopefully we find a couple more 5 stars soon. But I did end up giving that book a 5-star because I love the idea of that story, and I really loved what I felt, and I had such a good time reading that book, and I really just thought it was so cute and so magical. So I did end up giving that book 5 stars. I just really love the idea of like getting stranded in a fictional town that you already know and love. Like that is such a good idea. But I do plan on reading more of Silver Elite today. I would love to make some progress with this book today. Like I said, I'm only about 30 pages in. However, I am about to go to the pool right now and do a little tanning reading session. So obviously I'm gonna bring the roughest draft and try and make some progress in this book at the pool. And then when I get back and get settled, I'll probably jump back into Silver Elite because I do like it so far. Like I am really intrigued by like what I've read so far, and like the story setup is going good. I think the second book for this series recently came out as well, so I definitely want to continue this one as well. But for now, I'm gonna go to the pool, so I'm gonna bring my tanning and reading book and try and make some progress in this one. Like I said, I'm gonna try and only read this book at the pool, but if I'm cutting it close to like the end of the month, I'll probably just end up reading this one here as well. But for now, I'm gonna take this one to the pool with me and then when I get back, I will jump back into Silver Elite. It is time for a reading update. Yesterday I started Silver Elite by Danny Francis, and I'm actually really enjoying this one. I'm on chapter 19, which is about 180 pages in. I'm like low-key flying through this one. I am really enjoying the writing style and our characters and like the overall setup of the story so far. I'm really like invested in it, and I'm really like curious to see like if she ends up getting out of this predicament that she's in, because basically our FMC kind of gets roped into this military encampment training type school. However, she's kind of being treated like a prisoner. I think they also kind of like suspect something of her because they just like murdered her uncle on public execution for being a deserter, which I am still a little confused about like the cause of the uprising and the deserters and like all the politics to this world, but I think we're gonna get those pieces slowly. So far, I'm really enjoying the writing style. I feel like we have a true enemies to lovers situation on our hands here, because there's literally like no possible way that they could be together, yet their chemistry and their banter is so undeniable, and I am just living for it. So I'm really enjoying this one. I'm having a great time reading it. Today is the 29th. I think there's 31 days in May. Yeah. So technically I have 3 days left to finish this book, and I honestly see myself doing that either by the end of today or by the end of tomorrow, because I am thoroughly enjoying it. Like, I am enjoying our characters and the setup and everything. Like, I am hooked. Like, I want to know what happens, and I also want to get to know our characters a little more and like get to see a little more of their interactions. I love witty banter, and I love like when the characters like definitely should not be together, yet they literally just cannot help it. So I'm really enjoying it, and I'm gonna go ahead and jump back into reading for now and see how far I can get. I feel like I have a theory about one of these characters. I don't know if it makes any sense. I have about 160 pages left of Silver Elite. I'm on chapter 36, and honestly, I'm really enjoying this book. Like, overall, I just feel like I'm having a good time with it. I feel like there's a good mix of like wittiness and storyline, and I feel like I'm also invested in both the storyline with our FMC and like the plot as well as the romance. So I'm just really enjoying it, and I feel like I'm also reading it fairly fast because I started this yesterday, and this is like a 500-page dystopian romantic-y type novel, and I literally have 160 pages left, which is kind of crazy for me because, like I mentioned, I usually take a little longer to read like fantasy dystopian novels, but I am literally eating this book up. Basically, our FMC, she is like a part of the uprising because she's like has these unnatural abilities, and then you have like the elite of this world, and she ends up in the camp for like their military training school. So she's having to do like all of these operations and like the schoolwork and everything for this like training military camp for the elites. But she's like secretly a part of the uprising that is like supposedly going against these elites. However, they have not been able to kind of get her out of the situation that she's in. So she's really just having to play the part of an elite in this world. And it is just so fun to read because obviously she's not one of them. And like if they find out that you have these unnatural abilities, they literally kill you like on site. So she's having to play it really careful. But she also has like this romance going on with the captain, which is like the most dangerous person that she could have a romance with, because the captain is like the commander's son, like the big guy of this operation. It's his son that she has the romance with. It's like not the best option of someone to get involved with, especially when you're trying to pretend to be like someone you're not in like such a dangerous situation. So I'm really enjoying it, and I'm loving our characters. I'm loving the banter in this book. The banter in this book is so good. Like I literally have caught myself giggling and like blushing several times reading it. So overall, I'm having a really good time. I'm gonna try and get to page 400 tonight, which is about 60 more pages, but who knows? I actually may end up binging this whole book tonight because it's literally so good and so digestible, and I'm really interested to see how this is all gonna play out. We do have 2 more days left to finish off my May TBR, which would be the rest of this book, and then I have about 150 pages left of the roughest draft that I will probably finish out tomorrow as well at the pool. So it's looking pretty good. I honestly don't remember the last time that I finished a monthly TBR, and it's looking like we're on track. So super happy about this. I'm gonna go and continue reading Silver Elite, and I will come back when I have any sort of update. Don't mind me, I'm just celebrating the fact that I actually finished my monthly TBR on time. So real quick, let's go over the 3 books that I read in this video. But outside of this video, the other 2 books that were on my May TBR was Every Summer After by Carly Fortune and Beautiful World, Where Are You? I read those earlier in the month. So let's go over the 3 books that I ended up reading in this video. Starting off strong with A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. This book was so cute. I feel like it had all the whimsical vibes and realism vibes that I was expecting. And the romance was really cute. I feel like there was also a good mix of fiction in there as well. And the writing is just so whimsical and so digestible. I absolutely love this, and the premise of this book was so fun as well. This ended up being a 5-star. Then we went into Silver Elite by Danny Francis, and I really enjoyed this book as well. I feel like the enemies to lovers in this book was so good and so like believable, and also just like so fun to read. And also like the storyline for this book was so fun as well, because it's not like your typical fantasy plotline. It's more of a dystopian fantasy, but basically it's more like a military training school operations type of thing, which was so fun and so different. And the powers, like the magic system in this book as well, is really cool. It's not really powers, it's like there's a class of people who have these powers and they're kind of looked down on, and those are the people who are like starting an uprising against the elites who like don't have these powers or just have like the military force behind them. So overall, I really enjoyed this book. I loved our main characters. I loved all the side characters. I loved how the story played out, all the little side operations that we went on and everything. And also just, again, the enemies to lovers in this book was top tier. So this one also ended up being a 5-star. And then the last book I finished was The Roughest Draft by Emily Whibley and Austin Sigmund Broca. And I actually really enjoyed this book. I don't know why I put this book off for so long, because it was actually a really good read. Our 2 main characters in this book, they're both writers, and they wrote a book together years ago, and then they had like this big falling out after they finished the book, but they were still contracted to write another book together. But the reason that they fell out, they never really talked about it, and now they have to come back together and write the last book to fulfill their contract. And I just get to see these two come back together to write the last book, and they end up reconnecting, rekindling their friendship and whatnot. I really enjoyed this book. I feel like it was really good, and I feel like it was dragged out in such a good way. Like sometimes the romance is dragged out and it's kind of annoying, but I feel like the romance being dragged out in this book made so much sense, and it made it like so much more worth the wait, and it made the characters like so much more believable and their romance so much more believable. So overall, I really enjoyed this book, and I thought it was a really cute book to take to the pool as well, like a really easy book to read at the pool and just like fly through. So overall, I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was really cute, and I ended up giving this book 4 stars. But those are the 3 books that I ended up reading in this video to complete my May TBR, 2 of which were 5 stars and the other one a 4 stars. So this was a pretty successful video, and also a pretty successful video because I literally completed my May TBR, which was the goal of the video. So I'm pretty happy with how this turned out, and I'm pretty happy with how my May reads turned out as well, because these 2 books also, I believe, were at least a 4 star for me. So May was a pretty good reading month for me. Let me know if you've read any of these books and what your thoughts on them are, or if you plan on reading these books, because I really enjoyed them. But those were the 5 books on my May TBR. These were the 3 that I ended up reading in this video. So let me know your thoughts on these books, or if they're on your TBR. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and let me know if you ended up completing your May TBR as well. Otherwise, if you liked today's video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!